Hey there. Welcome to the Real Issues Respect podcast. My name is Stacy and I'm your host. So let's get right to it. In our last episode, we talked about a woman's thankfulness. In this episode, we'll talk about you're supposed to. So gentlemen, I understand that as a man, there are some things you're supposed to do, most of which is done without any recognition at all. With that being the case, that doesn't necessarily mean that you shouldn't be shown appreciation for what you're supposed to do. Yes, sir, you're supposed to take care of yourself if you're single. And yes, sir, you're supposed to provide and protect for your family. That's what God commissioned Adam to do in the garden. God put Adam in the garden to tend and to keep it. But when you look that word up, tend and keep, the word tend means to work or to serve, and keep means to hedge, guard, and protect. Therefore, you're supposed to have your own source of income, such as a job, business, or ministry, in which you work to protect it. You see, when you look a little bit deeper into Adam's life, he would have been a successful agriculturer and a cattle rancher who ran a highly profitable horticultural enterprise. Therefore, when your girl Eve came along, he was doing what he was supposed to do. He was running his business, taking care of what God had given him to do. He was working and he was protecting, both of which you're supposed to do. But here's the thing. If others are benefiting from what you're supposed to do, then at the very least, they should show you a little gratitude, a little thankfulness, and some sign of appreciation. And you might not realize it, but that appreciation for your supposed to provides and actually fuels you with the respect that you need. Because remember, in our last podcast, we discussed that thankfulness is often a sign of respect. But if you're not getting shown any type of appreciation for your supposed to, then oftentimes you don't feel appreciated. And one of the reasons why you don't is because no one is acknowledging what you are doing. No one is acknowledging the fact that you could be out here banging, trapping, and hustling. And might I add, pimping too. In fact, it seems like those who do get more attention than you, which makes you feel undervalued and underappreciated. I mean, here you are, out here doing the right thing, the legal way, and your boy that's about their life is living like a prince. That's another episode. We'll touch on that later. No hate, no disrespect to the guys in the game. But the point I'm trying to make is that in relationships, you have to go into it knowing that whoever she is, you have to know that she has to be required, not mandated, sir, but there should be something in her that wants to express appreciation for you, show you gratitude, and be thankful for what you're supposed to do. And sir, I'm not saying that you need to get all in your feelings or be overly sensitive over a thank you. I'm not saying that at all. But one of the reasons people act up is because they're not getting the recognition they need from doing the right thing. The only time they get attention is when they act a fool. Take a young man in high school. When he does the fool, everybody pays attention. Friends, family, the streets. Everybody is paying attention when they're doing the wrong thing. But when that same young man has perfect attendance, completes his assignments, makes passing grades, no one is shouting him out then. You see that? No one was acknowledging his supposed to. But why? Because as a man, you're taught you're supposed to. And sir, I totally agree. You are. But the thing about that is that you weren't taught the second part about you're supposed to. And that's only because your parents weren't going to thank you for washing dishes, taking out the trash, and going to school. That's what they expected you to do, and that's what you were supposed to do while you were in their household. But as a man in a relationships, your parents may not have told you or even showed you, or your mother may not have even thanked your father for that matter, for making sure he paid the bills or that he made any type of contribution in your home. You may have never saw your mother thank your father openly, and that's no disrespect to your mother. She did what she was taught to do. She did what she saw, I'm sorry. She did what she had in her. Or even, it may have even been that you didn't even have a father. So you definitely didn't see your mother tell her little dip, thank you for kicking in any type of ends. No one told you, and you weren't taught that when you're in a relationship, that a woman should acknowledge and appreciate what you're supposed to do. Ordinarily, when it is, you look at it as something sexual. You say, okay, her way, and I know that as women, they sometimes think that my way of showing you thankfulness, appreciation, is to have sex with you. Understood. But that does not negate the fact that your gentleman ears needs to hear a simple thank you. So if no one's told you thank you, I'll tell you. The woman God created you should acknowledge you and should thank you for you're supposed to. Just a simple thank you. How hard is that? Now, I didn't say that she had to bust it open. And I didn't say that she had to share it on the ground every time that you do something. And she didn't have to put on a public display. But she should tell you thank you, sir. Why? And why am I so adamant about you being shown some type of appreciation? It's because the streets won't thank you. And other men around you can't thank you. Your job doesn't thank you. But that doesn't negate the fact that you need to hear it. When you look in the Bible under Thanksgiving, it appears numerous of times. We're even told to give God thanks. 1 Thessalonians 5:18 says, in everything give thanks. So my question to you is that if God likes thank yous as his son, what makes you think you don't? You do, sir. You need to be thanked. And more importantly, you need to give thanks. So let me put a peg right there and ask you, are you thankful? I mean, do you thank God for the job or the business that you have? When something good happens in your life, do you say thank God, or do you give yourself credit? Because 9 times out of 10, if you're not thanking God, then sir, don't expect the women in your life to thank you. Ephesians 5:23 says, for the husband is the head of the wife, as also Christ is head of the church. If you're the head of her and he's the head of you, then sir, what are you doing? Perhaps you think the Lord is supposed to look out for you. I don't know, but if you haven't been shouting out the Lord, then may I recommend, sir, that you start? Maybe that's the reason no one acknowledges you, because you haven't been acknowledging God. Whatever the case, you still should be acknowledged, sir, even for what you're supposed to do and for what you don't have to. So let me start by saying, I see you, sir. doing your thing when no one is watching. I commend your quest for personal development, especially in a time when simply being a man is dangerous. I applaud your spiritual growth. If no one's told you today, you are doing a great job, sir. Thank you for being who you are, and thank you for not giving up on who you're becoming. I know you didn't have to listen to this podcast in its entirety, but you did. And for that, I am thankful. Thank you that after all you went through today, you still took the time to listen to me. So let me tell you, sir, thank you. Thank you for subscribing, liking, and sharing this podcast with your crowd. And on that note, sir, good day. Be sure to leave your comments below. And if you have any questions or comments, you can email me at yourrespectcoach@gmail.com. Be sure to follow me on Instagram at Respect Coaching. And until our next episode, thank you, sir. You're doing a great job.